Alright guys, welcome to Lee Photographies. I am Lee, also known as Mike, with Mike W Productions. And some things that you might want to know about today is how to make a film. So what do I mean about making a film? Well, that is pretty simple. We are talking about how to make long format videos, short format videos, and other things in the video medium. So what is a long format video? Typically anything over, I think it's 55 minutes is considered a long format movie. If it's under, I think 60 minutes or 55 minutes, it's considered a short film. Or if you're doing a vlog, video, YouTube, or anything like that. So a few things that you will want to have when you are doing said videos is, well, first off, you want to have some kind of audio recording device. You can either have a camcorder, or in this case I have a camera. Why do you shoot with a camera? Cameras are made for, well, taking pictures. Yes, but they're also now made to record shorter periods of time, about a half hour or 28 minutes depending on what kind of camera you have. This is the Sony A7 III that I'm shooting on. It shoots in different formats like 720, 1080, and of course 4K, which is different file sizes and different qualities of film. Right now I'm shooting in 4K, so if you are watching this on a 4K monitor, you can probably see all of the junk that's on my face. Now, the reason why I also shoot in 4K is because I can do what's called pushing without having to actually physically move the camera. So pushing is going from different distances while shooting. So I can sit here and talk, I can crop in and get real close, or I can crop out and get a wider view. And depending on what kind of video you're making, it's either good or bad to have a wide aperture, or maybe you want it to be shorter, and it's just depending on what you're making. When it comes to, say, shorter movies or short films or short projects that you're working on that are under a half hour, you want to have a good idea of what kind of lenses you're working with, what kind of style you're trying to go for, because every lens is kind of different and will give you different exposures and lengths and styles and framing for whatever it is that you're doing. Now, if you're doing, say, a horror movie, you might not want to use a wide lens. You might want to use a shorter focal length or shorter aperture lens. So this is I believe it's a 1.3 f. So it has a big, wide, open lens. So that gives you more light, it gives you more scene, but it's also going to give you a wider depth of field, whereas a 50 with a, say, 3f will give you a shorter depth of field. And that is the question: do you want everything to be focused in one place, or do you want to be able to see a whole lot more? For the different genres, it just depends. If I'm doing a horror movie, I might want something where I can be pretty up close and then have something creepy sneak in here and be like, oh, what is that? Or be far away. There is, it's just depending on what you want the video to look like. So you can use any kind of aperture lenses that you have. If you don't have anything like that, you can also use your phone. but again, with your phone, you're losing quality on your actual imaging because the processor is okay, but your crop sensor is like that big. Some of the newer ones have slightly bigger ones and slightly better processors, so yeah, they can push 4K, and that's good if you're using for certain projects, and that's fine if that's what you have. But I would say having a designated film camera, like made for film, or at least a mixer like the Sony A7 III would be pretty good because you can get better quality. Now, that's if you can afford it. If you have, and you know, Nikon, Canon, of course, has good quality cameras like the Sony, and all of those work pretty good. You want to have at least 1080p, if not 4K or 8K, which is out now in most cameras. That way you can have more detail in your imaging and be able to push crop and not lose detail. The other thing that you want to do is make sure you have good lighting. So if you see over here, I have a lamp to my left, your right, which is here, and that is a fill light. I just have it on to give a little ambiance in the background. I also have a front face light in front of me above the camera here. That is to light me up properly so I don't have to worry about being in the dark and having to mess around with all of that. If you do shoot in a darker area, even with a high aperture f-stop, you're going to get what's called film grain, and that is not fun because it comes out really poorly. So make sure you have your lighting down. Don't worry about like buying a designated light or a light stick or anything like that. Just use what you have there, but make sure that you have a bunch of lights on, that your area that you're shooting in is well lit. And then as you go along, upgrade to what you can. So we got the idea so far of what we're going for. Next, so we got the lighting down. Always make sure your lighting is bright and, you know, good. Always make sure you mess around with your settings in there for your exposure balances. Most cameras do have an exposure balance in them, so look up your specific camera and figure out how to do that, because you don't want to be overexposed and you don't want to be underexposed when making your video. The next thing that you want to work on, besides actually having the camera itself and having your lighting, is your sound. Now, I am running the Rode Shotgun microphone, and that is hooked up into the Sony A7 III. I also have, let me show you here, this little guy. I also use this little guy at some points during my videos, and that is the Phyphon microphone here. You can see, hopefully, and that is I might be able to link a link down below for you guys if you want that. That is a USB microphone. It hooks right up into your computer direct, so that way you don't really have to worry about being too close to the microphone, but you also get that fun look of having a microphone right near your face. I usually use that if I'm doing just a short format video, and then I'll put this back down here, so if you shake a little, I'm sorry. I also have that on a extender bar, an L bar, which will go out and bring up the microphone to my face. And as you have seen in some of my other videos, especially if you follow my other YouTube channel, I also have this guy, which is the Logitech microphone. I did lose the little ear pad things. They do end up falling off, but I've had this guy for about 2-3 years now, and it works fine. The thing about these guys is they are only good for this kind of talking, just head talking or playing online games or video games. You can put it on, or with that one you can just have it near your face, but that's only good for this kind of video. If you want to use a different kind of proper sound equipment, I would say the Rode is probably the cheapest thing, because you can more than likely boom mic it. You can put it on a boom, hook it up to a designated sound system that will just record it, and then you can match audio in post. And that is very important, to have good quality sound. Also, with your sound, you want to have good overlaying sound effects. Things like music, things like little effects that you have. So like if there was someone at the door, just having a thumping overlay or a knocking overlay or something that would tell you what's going on, even if there's not someone knocking on my door. You don't want to be throwing around things in your apartment or knocking on your door when you have neighbors who are within earshot and might think that your door is their door. And you don't want to be, breaking glass. If you have a glass breaking scene in your own house, you might want to just make a sound effect for glass breaking and just be like, did my window just break? And then do stuff like that. So that's the other part of it, is having really good audio. And then there is formats that you can do, little tips and tricks that I can maybe give you that you haven't thought of yet. So like I'm on my phone, I'm looking at my phone, I'm getting a text message, maybe I have a little thing that pops up that says, this, or maybe it's in the corner of the screen or the up top, and it just has like a drop down thing and it goes whoop, 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 whoop. And you want to have different messages with those kind of things. Like if it's a new message, it'll pop up and have whatever your phone usually makes. You usually know what kind of tones your phone makes when you send and receive messages. You also know what you sound like when you're on the phone, so you can make an audio track of what you sound like when you're talking on the phone. But you can also either hook them in and like I would just use my Rode, do a video, cut out the imaging and detach the audio and use that audio as an overlay over that video, so you can hear them talking and just kind of lower it down to where it's just a little muffled. So you can pretend like you're sitting right next to them and you can hear the conversation. Or you can do a cutscene where you actually see the person. There's so many things that you can do to make little details so much better, and that helps with your video, is all of the little details that you thought of in post. Things like, again, like your tones. If you're doing like a western or a black and white, there's different tonalities that you can set your camera in post to. You can also do different effects in post for different shots. Bunch of different things can be put into your processing in post, and there's tons of videos. And if you guys want me to do anything specific on these points, hit me up in the comments and I will definitely go through them. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So we got the lighting, the cameras, the action. The audio is now good. We got our ideas for sound effects, and we're going to hit on one of the more important, if not the most important idea, is the idea itself. What is your story? What are you trying to tell? And how long do you have tell it. What is your dialogue? Or are you not going to have dialogue? Shorter formats don't really need a whole lot of dialogue. Longer formats do typically need to have some kind of dialogue to push the movie or video forward. If you're doing a shorter film, then you don't technically need it depending on the genre. There's old cowboy movies that were just the guy was silent the entire time and other people talked. Maybe everyone is silent. Maybe it's just himself in a room and he's not talking. There was a movie I believe called Into the Wild where the guy really didn't talk all that much unless he was actually interacting with another human. So those are some pretty interesting ideas for you. If you guys want to know anything else in more of a specific genre or film style, or if you want to know more about videography, photography, hit me up in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that little subscribe button because it'll notify you when I make another video. Give this video a like if you liked it, and there should be another video popping up over here. And of course, I made it easy for you and dropped the subscription button right here. So with that being said, thank you guys for coming in. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and we will see you next time. Peace.